What's up, buttercups? It's me, Amy Young, coming at you with a Friday freestyle. Sound like a game show host. Sound like a Saturday Night Live person. All right, super fun topic today. You ready for it? We're gonna talk about low self-esteem. Low self-esteem, like an after-school special. Specifically, I want to talk about how low self-esteem manifests in our lives, because I've come to realize there's low self-esteem. It's a funny thing because I think we have a picture in our head of what low self-esteem looks like, and it's kind of like a sad, slunched over blob of a person, who's just wearing a gray hoodie and she's got dark circles under her eyes, and that would be the stock photo. If we looked up woman with low self-esteem, it would be a woman, clutching her hoodie around her shoulder, looking wistfully out a window just at the world, a withdrawn recluse who's let herself go. And it's super duper hilarious that that's often the picture that comes to mind. And not that that doesn't exist. A lot of people do kind of withdraw and do the whole slouchy gray hoodie thing. But listen to me. There's this whole other breed of low self-esteem users or low self-esteem folks. And I was one of them for a long ass time, who actually, to cope with their low self-esteem and how much, if you're like I was, you really could not stand to be with yourself. I really had such a hard time just being alone, feeling my fucking feelings, didn't know how to do it, didn't like myself, definitely didn't love myself, didn't know how to take care of myself. Just self-esteem basement level. Because I would just bully myself and criticize myself all the fucking time. One of the ways that will manifest, and this is what it looked like for me, is that we get into this habit of overcompensating. We don't want to actually admit to ourselves, and we might not even be aware of how much we actually kinda can't stand ourselves or can't stand to be with ourselves. So what we do is we perform really, really well in life. And I use the term perform specifically because it's we leave the house, we go to our jobs, we meet up with friends, we're on the phone with our mom, we're walking down the street, and to anybody who's interacting with you, you probably look pretty confident and capable. You probably look you look like you got it kind of together. You put a cute outfit on and, you're smiling and you're chatting with the barista and getting your little mocha java latte. And then you go to work and your boss is calling you out in a meeting for doing this great thing and yay. And then you go on a date and you're and to your date, he's oh, she seems pretty cute, pretty cool. But I've got it kind of together. I'm confident, capable, comfortable in my own skin. It's a really well manufactured facade. It's a practice of overcompensating and striving and feeling you have to hustle and kind of even convince other people that you're good. That low self-esteem? What? Who has that? Me? No. There's this whole camp of people who cope with essentially kind of hating themselves by chasing after various forms of what they think are self-esteem boosters, getting into a great relationship with someone who can love them and cherish them and give them all the things that they don't know how to give to themselves, getting a really highly esteemed job or a position of prestige that anyone else would say whoa, she's in that position, she must be she must have it going on. We fucking hustle our ass to the gym and we're I'm gonna get the sick bod, because if I get the sick bod on the outside, then maybe I'll get to feel I'm sick on the inside. It's it is such a fucking performance, because it's not coming from an authentic place of how you really feel about yourself or what you really want or who you really are, it's coming out of this place of like dissatisfaction and striving and like just wanting to kind of like escape yourself, or just have some version of like approval from anywhere in your life because you cannot approve of yourself. And to everyone else, like to people in your life, if this sounds kind of like you, I bet you have friends, I bet you have family, you might even have a partner who thinks that you're the bomb.com. Like, people think you're so great. People love working with you. People love hanging out with you. People enjoy your company, but you don't really believe any of that, feel any of that, hear any of that. You cannot accept a compliment to save your fucking life because it doesn't match up with the version of yourself that you see. You stand in front of a mirror in like a changing room and you pick apart your body in all these horrible ways, but somehow, you know, people have told you that like you're beautiful at some point or another. Or you've got a partner who just like adores every inch of you, but you're like, oh God, get me out of this body. Like, I'm offering all of these various examples because I want you to be on the lookout in your life for where you might be performing to try and compensate for how you feel about yourself. Because when we're in performance mode, it's like we're wearing this mask to like convince everybody of this thing that we know isn't even true. And here's some really bad news. I mean, you can lie to everybody else for a while. Lying to yourself has a pretty short shelf life. So if you have low self-esteem, but you don't like fit the mold of like, you know, slouchy, sad sweater girl, and anybody else would be really shocked to know that you actually have low self-esteem, or that like you don't have a good relationship with yourself, or that you don't like who you are, I really strongly encourage you to go direct to the source, to stop chasing, stop striving, stop performing, stop putting the mask on, stop like overcompensating, and start being with yourself in an authentic way and admitting to yourself how fucking exhausted you are, how sick of performing you are, how tired you are of having to present this thing to the world that you don't really feel like you are. Like, be with all of those feelings. Just be with them. Just admit that they're here. Welcome them with open arms. They're there anyway. So it's not like, you know, it's not like we're manufacturing something. It's more just like we're noticing like this is what's actually going on with me. And be with like how tiring and exhausting and actually painful it is to have to carry on this way. Like, it wasn't until I reached a breaking point of being like, I straight up don't think I can keep doing this. Like, how long am I gonna fucking perform for? Am I gonna be doing this when I'm like 40, when I'm like 50? Am I gonna go to my grave doing this song and dance to get everybody else to think that like I've got it together and that I'm all good and I'm comfortable with myself? But really the secret, like the deep dark secret inside, is that like I don't like who I am. And I can't stand to be alone. Like, start spending time with yourself, being in what you're actually feeling. This is like a really good kind of like step one, is just slowing down long enough to acknowledge what's true for you, to feel what's here, to take the mask off with yourself. Like, stop doing the song and dance. Just when you're alone, sit, don't numb out, like put down your phone, put down a drink, feel. You'd be surprised how fucking hard this is, guys. I know. Like, how many of us are actually really good at just feeling our feelings instead of judging them or telling ourselves we shouldn't feel that way or blaming ourselves for how we feel. Like, the practice of just being with yourself and feeling your feelings, I promise it can and it will change your life. It completely changed mine. It continues to. So don't underestimate the power of admitting to yourself how you really feel and what's really going on. You know, like, the jig is up. You're too smart for this. You're too evolved. You're too aware. You don't have to hustle. You don't have to strive. You don't have to be dissatisfied with yourself any longer. I promise you there is a better way. I promise you transforming the relationship you have with yourself, which always starts with just kind of turning inward and paying attention to yourself and noticing your feelings and feeling what you feel and empathizing with how hard it is sometimes. It's magical. Simple, not easy. Doesn't mean that we don't do it. So that's this week's Friday Freestyle. Thank you so much for tuning in. Make sure you're subscribed because there's new videos coming out weekly now. I know you're excited. I'm super duper excited. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Tell me what you think in the comments. And head to amyyoungcoaching.com. The link is in the description box, and get on my email list so we can keep up like this on the regs, more on the regs. That would be great. And until next time, very, very soon, you are so loved and adored by me. I see you. I know what's going on inside. I know how hard it is sometimes. I want you to admit to yourself how hard it is for you and be with yourself in that. So test it out. And I'll see you.